Right, what we're seeing at the moment is a lot of not-for-profits. They get quite anxious and they're struggling when their donors suddenly fall off. And when we look at how business works about how we keep our customers and how they come on board and looking at how we can bring on more, there's actually a lot of clever processes that we can imitate.
Okay, so when you are starting a BMC, what is your broad approach to thinking about using it in the first place?
I tend to think about three things. I think about why is this desirable to our customer? I think about how is this feasible for our team to deliver? And the third one is how is this going to be financially viable? How are we going to make sure that we're always sustainable? The first place to start is the desirability lens. We're going to look at four main boxes: customer segment, value proposition, customer relationships, and channels. These days it's so important to have a really clear understanding of who is my customer or my donor, and in getting a good sense of why they buy and how we can prompt that exchange to happen. When I say customer or donor, we're looking at people who support you in kind, or they support you financially, or the people who you need on board to help make your social mission happen. I think that the best place to start is with value proposition. So this is about understanding why people donate to you, or what makes them support you, or what makes them come back year after year. It's not a physical, tangible thing. It's often, how does this make me feel, or what is the story that I tell myself about where my money has gone? The activity I really like for this is called the 5 whys. And the 5 whys is where you say, why does somebody buy from us? And they say, well, they buy it because they want good quality coffee or whatever it may be. And you go, and why is that important to them? And then you get that answer and you go, and why is that important to them? And you go deeper and deeper and you finally get to this point where you go, it just is. And then you go one layer back up and that's your value proposition. It's about finding the underlying reason. So let's look at a case like the big issue and put it through the 5 whys. And you may ask your customer, why do they buy it? And they go, I wanted to help somebody. And you say, why is that important? And you go, well, because I believe that homelessness is something that is a big problem in society. And you go, okay, so why the big issue? And you go, because I like the idea of giving somebody a job. And you go, well, why is that? And you go, well, it's because I have this philosophy of giving people a hand up, not a hand out. And you go, why is that important? And you go, I just believe it. And you go back up one, and that's the value proposition. The common mistakes that we tend to see with value proposition is people being too simplistic and going, people want it because they like magazines. And that's not untrue, but that's the value proposition for every magazine out there. So we want a lot of clarity about what is the specific value proposition for something like the big issue that other businesses can't quite replicate. Another one is to get too hung up on what people actually buy. For an enterprise like a cafe, the value proposition isn't something as simple as coffee. It's about it tastes great, or it might be that it's instant caffeine, or it might be that it's a nice place that I can work for half an hour. What you can find is that 3 different people buy the same product for 3 very distinct reasons. The reason the value proposition is so important to get right is because we can't afford to get it wrong. We need to have a lot of clarity and insight as to why our donors support us financially, and then how their behaviour will flow.